I'm going to get pulled up on that, Steve.
You're going to edit that. You need to edit that one, Gavin.
Yeah, Dell'Orto.
There you
Steve
go.
Dell'Orto, founder and CEO of Concentric, founding member of Built by Builders Network. And what we're going to talk about today is a very important topic, and one that really strikes a chord with me. It's about why pre-construction is the most strategic phase in the project life cycle. Steve has an amazing background, having worked in major general contracting, multi-billion pound businesses, and he's been around the block. And this is a very successful, innovative company that he now runs, helping construction guys like you in terms of running your business and understanding, if you get it right in the pre-planning stage and the pre-construction stage, chances are you've got a successful project on your hands. And he's got the blueprint to tell us how to do that. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Gavin. Appreciate you
Where do
having me.
we? No, delighted. I'm really, honestly, the topic is on point for me. Give us a little bit of context about how it came about, why you've taken on that subject, and where was your light bulb moment for getting involved with this area.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a little bit different than your average software tech person because I lived in the industry for 26 years. I was a leader in a top 10 general contractor here in the US. And we did a lot of projects, and they weren't all big, right? We did mega projects, but we did projects that were a couple $100,000 in contract. And among all the different things in my 26-year career, as I, kind of grew up, I saw more and more that the ability to affect the success, both for us, for the project, for the owner we were serving, for us to impact that success, the best way to do that was to plan the job more thoroughly. And I think it's a fairly common practice, both in the way people bid the work out without using the builder in some sort of pre-construction capacity. That's an owner's choice. But sometimes the GC themselves, if they get that opportunity, they just do the bare minimum in the hopes that they can just be positioned to win the job to go build it. And they don't invest the proper time and energy in the front end to set the table for success. So, being in the industry for so long, you see a lot, and I saw had a lot of great experiences, with the project outcomes, the synergy of a team. And I also saw a lot of projects where, it was a bit of a rocky road, could have been better, or it was fine, but you just know that a lot of good opportunity was left on the table. And that's, where I felt there could be vast improvement in our industry for the good for everybody. And I set out in right before COVID to launch Concentric and to figure this problem out. I think the advantage of many, I mean, I have a world-class, fantastic team that's making all of this happen.
Yeah.
But the advantage is, we have not just me, but a number of people that have come from the industry as well, with a focus on pre-con. And so world-class technology talent, leadership in AI, which is, a fast paced emerging element, particularly in construction, as well as just this intimate knowledge of how pre-con is currently done and how it really could be done for much better outcomes, and combine all that into one company. We have an extraordinary superpower, and it's really allowing us to build very quickly, build exactly what the customers need, and do it in a thoughtful way that is serving pre-con for everybody. Because the one thing I know, with the variety of projects I did, big and small, pre-con's pretty common across all projects of all sizes. This is not just, pre-con doesn't, need to be only served to the, the large general contractors and the large projects. It's pretty ubiquitous in terms of its the needs and how you do it, across all of the size projects and size companies. And we have an amazing customer group that represents equally the smaller category, the folks that are doing, work in the 100 to $500 million a year basis,
Yeah.
and then we've got the classic ENR top whatevers, equally represented.
Yeah. So are we all getting the pre-construction wrong, Steve, or are we just getting bits of it right, or is there a profile of construction companies that you see that really need this sort of support, or is it just right across the board? People don't have it figured out.
I think there's been a lot of sentiment analysis, high-paid consultants tarnishing our industry, suggesting that we're the worst performing since World War II in
Yeah.
terms of productivity, and we've read all those things.
Yeah.
No, we don't have. Companies are not getting pre-construction wrong. It's primarily because the work, the technology. I'm not talking about in construction. I'm talking about just what's available in general.
Hmm.
It may have been a little bit slow to embrace it,
Yeah.
but fundamentally, the professionals that are doing the work are doing their very best, and
Yeah.
they're trying to think through these issues conceptually. They're trying to account for everything. Highly dynamic process involving a lot of people, a lot of opinions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's almost like fighting a fight with both hands tied behind your back, because the customer demands and the market demands are that you move more and more rapidly each year that goes by. So you have less time to do your work. We have less people available to get that work done because we've had and continue to have people leave for retirement or whatever. So there's just less people, particularly experienced people, to do the work. So you have all these things that are working against you. The last
Yeah.
thing I would say is that they're doing it wrong. They're doing
Yeah.
it right, but they're doing it manually because they have to, and they
Yeah.
just don't have enough time to do it thoroughly. So the way we are changing that dynamic is a big part of the solution is in data. Because if you can take all of your prior work history, the lessons learned, the context from all those projects, and actually structure and contextualize that data, now all of a sudden you can start getting away from one-off ad hoc spreadsheets into a more systematic approach, leveraging that data and having it, think about the computational power and the ability with modern software to visualize things and help tell the story. So that really helped the one person do a lot more of the pre-con work in a shorter period of time more effectively. But that only gets you so far. You also need to have a force multiplier because, like I said, there's more people leaving than coming into the industry at a time that the demand for the things to be built and in our societies across the world are rapidly growing. So you got that going this way, you got the headcount in our industry going that way, and you got this gap ever widening. So you need to have a force multiplier. So
Yeah.
technology, agentic AI, which is we're the first in the pre-construction space to really embrace it and do something with it because we can. We have a platform with immense amounts of structured data and capability to handle the entire pre-construction process, not just one, and contextualize all of it together. So that way, these agentic AI solutions that we've built can take Gavin and you, instead of you sitting down to do 5 or 10 tasks that will take you the entire day, the agents are doing that on your behalf while you're doing something else, having a meeting with the owner or handling yet another project. So they're just like
Yeah.
virtual people.
Yeah. We like, what I love about what you're doing is you're very focused and niche into that one particular area. But that I'm just thinking, and of course you've got an answer for this, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway, if you don't mind, Steve.
Sure.
Um, Why would you not follow through after pre-construction and move right through all the different stages to, the lessons learned, end of project stage? Why just focus on pre-construction?
Well, we want to solve the areas that are the least served. And pre construction is a passion of mine. I mean, I came up through the operations side building the work as a project manager and superintendent. But like I said at the beginning, I started to realize that it's the front end of the business where you can really have an impact, the risk,
Yeah.
profitability, everything, and just having a job that just goes smoothly for everybody.
Yeah.
But so there's nothing in pre-con. And so we got to solve that. And there's a lot to be solved because it's been so underserved for so long. So it's going to take time.
Yeah.
But then there's companies out there that are doing, at a platform scale, good things from a project management standpoint, but fundamentally cost, what the project is going to cost, not what did we spend in the
Yeah.
past tense, but what will it cost is the magic. That's the denominator that everybody cares about to determine whether a job goes forward or not, whether it will be successful, what the ROI is. That's where we're focusing our energy, but we're the Rosetta Stone because we know and have the ability to help drive and forecast what something will cost. So tying in the results of when your project is completed and bringing those results to inform and compare to what was the original plan. We do
Yeah.
that. We do control that. That is a big part of what we do. So we might not be focused on the project management phase, but we're actually serving all of it with that included by being able to take the completed results, pull them back so that way we get this, we're the driver of this flywheel of knowledge and experience and lesson learned because
Yeah.
as that flywheel turns over time, it becomes deadly accurate. And it's the accuracy driven off the data and the context,
Yeah.
lessons
Yeah.
learned, type experiences. That's what will really enhance your bottom line. That's what provides that certainty of outcome. We as
Yeah.
builders are being hired to give the owner, who isn't a professional often in the how to get something built industry, and they just want certainty of outcome. They don't when they hatch the plan and line up their financing or whatever the case is, 5 years later, 3 years later, whatever it is, that's when that project is activated and is supposed to deliver revenue. It's a long period of time to be carrying that uncertainty on your back like this
Yeah.
massive weight because you just don't know. And nobody can deliver you any sort of consolation or certainty until now. And with
Yeah.
consent, we got a laser focus on really taking that beta, that volatility, and
Hmm.
getting it as close to zero as we can get it.
I pulled out a testimonial off your website, and this guy kind of nailed it for me as well. Pre-construction is the least expensive and most important time of the construction process. Our job is to ask the hard questions early and shape the project before it's too late to change course. The least expensive time is in the pre-construction stage was what stood out for me, and it's like, if you're gonna mess up, mess up in the pre-construction stage.
Yeah, I
No.
mean, when I was back in my general contracting days, working with my teams, it was just challenging everybody, turn over every stone, ask all the hard questions, challenge things because
Mm,
the devil's in the details. And when you dig and root those things out and you base decisions on fact, not opinion, you can prove it with historical information. All of
yeah.
those things, really help suss out what are going to be those kind of time bombs that blow up on you when you're in the middle of construction. And when you're sitting there with expensive cranes and steel hanging in
Yeah.
the air and you find this detail or this situation that isn't right, that's big
Big.
money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A
And
couple of
risk.
bucks on a table,
Yeah.
and a
Big
laptop,
time. Yeah.
not
Big
that
time.
expensive.
But the like, I was going somewhere with this, and I'm looking, going to call it for what it is, and you can tell me you'll have an answer for this as well, no doubt. But if I take your platform, then there's another platform for another thing. Then there's another platform for another thing. Are we getting, are you getting kickback from some companies when you go into them first and kind of go, look, Jesus, here's another platform. Oh my God, we already have this platform and it does this, and it does all the other stuff. So why would we go with your platform, and it's just, this small segment in his mind, small segment, or their mind, small segment of the overall process. Are you getting that kickback, or are you getting that sort of
We refer to it as
narrative?
pushback. To be clear, there's no kickbacks, but pushback wise, of course. I mean, everybody is. It's natural, and I'm offering this to the audience. It's perfectly natural to resist change or to, not just jump right in with both feet. Totally get it.
Yeah.
The notion that we've got all of these solutions is a real issue, but the issue is you got to distinguish between a point solution and a platform. So a point solution is just going to take that one task or that one workflow, and that's all it does. Think of it like a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
There are a lot of workflows. So if you go down that route, you could end up just in pre-con alone with 40 or 50 point solutions if you replaced your Excel spreadsheets, which are in essence a point solution, and they don't talk to each other, and you're completely losing out on the power of your own data. But if you graduated to 40 point solutions, now you got an even bigger problem, because you don't know how to move data from a point solution to point solution like you do for Excel to Excel.
Yeah.
And that's where a platform has got a massive advantage over that, because what we've built is the galaxy, like the constellation of the stars. They all talk to each other. They're solving all of those things like these one-off point solutions, but in a much more integrated, thoughtful, comprehensive fashion. And not to mention the fact that they've been designed and built by a builder, kind of replicating, the common workflows that we all go through. And with at least our notion on how to make it a little bit better, which I did in a very non-technical way with dramatic results. I 10x'd our revenue in a very short period of time. I grew our bottom line by 44% just in the 3 years of embracing this more thoughtful way of doing pre-con. So imagine the success that you could have if I got that success with some ginned up ad hoc spreadsheets with my teams doing it through word of mouth, when you've got a platform fully designed and built with modern, in a modern software way, now supercharged with agentic AI.
Yeah.
I wish I had what we built.
Yeah, no, back then.
7
Like,
years when I was in the saddle.
I'm getting visions, Steve, as you're talking, of those pre-construction workshops, and they were brilliant, and they are brilliant, and I would encourage them even today. The get together, all interested parties into one room. Let's have meaningful discussion about who's doing what, how things are going to go, what are the values for the project, what are the standards we're setting for ourselves for the project, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we've had a lot of our customers bring it to just even in the competition phase where they're trying to win the job, and they have brought Concentric in to demonstrate, hey, here's kind of a day in the life of doing pre-construction with us. And it's unique because we're highly transparent. You have full access to all of the information. It's no longer Excel spreadsheets that you have to make a call in the hopes that somebody will give you the right version if they do it all. Certainly in the time frame that you need it. They're increasing their win rate by 20 to 50% just in the first year of using our platform, because the owners are recognizing, wow, they're bringing something very unique to the table that's going to give me, there's no doubt in their mind, it's going to give them a much better certainty of outcome, a much more transparent and collaborative process.
And to go back to your point, and you did explain it very well, like the Richardson niches, or niche businesses, as we call them over this side of the water, focus on the language of your niche or your niche. And if it's because there's different languages. Do you find that in terms of, if you're in safety, you've got a language for safety. If you're in quality, you've got a language for quality. if you're in pre-construction, I'm sure there's a language that's used in pre-construction.
Mhm.
Whereas if you were doing pre-construction and other areas of construction, it gets mangled, and you're not focusing in on that point, if you like, or points, as you said, and you're not, you will have areas of challenges, I'm sure, within the pre-construction stage. Oh, we never taught them that. Actually, that's something that we probably can redesign back into the platform. I'm sure you've had plenty of those conversations. Maybe you might give us some antidotes on that, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I think the beauty of the approach that we've taken is to make the work that you do or what we've built not just to let you get your work done like a utility, but rather have it be grade A presentation grade. So that way the work is the presentable format, because you're right, people call things different, they use different terminology. That's
Yeah.
one aspect of like language and communication. The other is people just have absent data and anything at your fingertips. Now you're just dealing with people's guesses or their opinions,
Assumptions. Yeah.
assumptions, and you have no idea whether it's fact or fiction. If somebody's
Yes.
just making something up, yeah,
Yeah.
we call that. I call that Kentucky windage. It's just like, close enough.
It's
And
the truth. It's the truth. It's
but
so true.
But the
Yeah.
magic with our platform is the fact you can dispense with all of that because a picture is worth 1,000 words, and there's no mistaking a graph, right? There's
Yeah.
no mistaking a trend line that's going either up or
Yeah.
down, whatever that might be telling you, and numbers, right?
Yeah.
The numerical system that we all use is the common language. So
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
numbers, you got graphs. You could call it purple socks for all I care. Message delivered, right? And
Yeah.
there's no argument. That builds trust. That builds confidence. That eliminates lack of understanding. That's the
Yeah.
stuff that I watched for 26 years. High priced people
Hundred
sitting around
percent.
the table by the baker's dozen,
Yeah.
burning a lot of time at billable hours arguing over whose
Yeah.
memory of the last meeting was like the correct one to be moving forward on at this meeting. And
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah.
absolute waste of talent and
Yeah. You
time.
see them. You see them coming in with the diaries, and they're gonna like, yeah. Here he comes in with the diary.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Great. You wrote down what you kind of baked into your head.
What version of it? The version that you heard, not the version
Right.
that he heard or she heard,
Single
and
source of truth. Single source.
everybody has their own version of it. I'm interested to hear your um, solution in terms of collaborating everybody's interests. So what I mean by that is I see a lot of chaos in the model where everybody's working in silos. The electrical contractor's doing his thing, plumbing contractor's doing her thing, or whatever, and they're just blinkers on doing their own thing. How did you fix that sort of dynamic of, you know, outside interests, and how did you gel them all together in the pre-construction stage?
Again, the power of a platform and having these workflows in one central environment is, um, our customers, and we have GCs, design builders, as the builder, but we
Mm.
also have customers that are owners, right? Universities, and they're bringing the solution to either their department or the project.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it's about letting everybody come in and access and be a part of whatever that workflow, or that task is, and contribute or
Yeah.
lead, right? So, um, how we've solved it is just simply enable all those parties to come in a way
Okay.
that, our paying customer has the ability to control
Yeah.
what somebody can access, do. It's kind of like the classic read, write,
Yeah.
all those permissions, but that's like that's eliminating these massive barriers that have been around forever. You take
Yeah.
the VE process, it's a horrible process. I mean, if you're doing VE, that typically means you blew the budget and design alignment in the first place. Be that
Yeah.
as it may, you got to fix the situation. So the GC typically is coming up with their list in Excel. The designer does not have access to that list. So how can
Yeah.
you expect the designer to brainstorm ideas of what to change in the design to get us back to budget and log those ideas in? You
Yeah.
know, they have no access. So therefore, they're not motivated to really participate. But with our platform, they come in, they can drop their idea in. You know, the GC can go in there and throw a pricing effort on it. You know, now you got everybody participating in solving that problem
Yeah.
collaboratively. You know, or just simply, you know, you get an owner that on a Saturday they're just trying to get caught up and they're trying to prepare for a maybe it's a meeting with their lender on Monday
Mhm.
morning, and you know they're busy, so they waited till Saturday to just start to pull together. They have no access in the status quo. They have no access to the most current hard cost for the construction of their project, which is 70% of their pro forma. They're kind of screwed because nobody's really going to answer the phone on a weekend. Well, they
Yeah.
come right into the platform. All that information is right there. And
Real time. Yeah.
yeah,
It's real time. Do you solve? So have you got different categories? Like, what I'm thinking of is it's coming across, if you don't mind me saying so. And again, you can contradict me all you want. Uh, it's coming across very financially driven as a product. And I'm just thinking, is have you looked at the communication side of things, where there's obviously, I know you probably have, obviously. Have you looked at the operational side of things, which you've obviously have, and how do you structure that as a process within the platform?
you know, that's a fair call out. I think a lot of people, when they think of pre-con, they just immediately go to like estimating and cost,
Yeah,
financial, you know, stuff.
yeah,
Uh, you're dead on. We address way more than just the cost. And the cool thing is take scheduling, you know,
hmm,
the time factor of the engagement that you're going through to ensure that whatever permitting, you know, the design itself at those key milestones, the time in which you're going to do a detailed estimate. I mean, everything under the sun. Today's day and age is rarely actually scheduled like you do, like a superintendent schedules the construction of the work.
yeah,
So we introduced timeline, which in a much more integral fashion than you ever could have with a Primavera product or a Microsoft product, just simple Gantt charts, but completely disconnected from the
100%.
capability of. This is
Seen it.
100% integral and intertwined. So now we have the cost, we have time,
Yeah,
all of those two things welded together within our platform. We have risk. You
yeah,
know, risk affects cost, risk affects time, risk affects ROI decisions. We
yeah.
have an entire suite just focused on encouraging the team to think ahead and identify what are the risks that could threaten the success of the project, both in pre-con and in construction, and what are we going to do about it?
Love it. Love
So
it.
those
Yeah,
are
I love
two
it.
other examples, but there's a lot. I mean, just resource management and understanding who's doing what among your team, and have you
Yeah,
equally distributed the load across the members of the team? Where might you have bottlenecks
yeah,
in your, you know, subcontractor bidding process? All of that is handled in our platform in a very simple way. We believe in simplicity. Simple is hard, so it takes, you know, we got a world class team. Our designers are just amazing because they think like the people that design, you know, the iPhone. And when I saw this going back a number of years, but my oldest daughter at whatever she was, 2.5, just take an iPad, start swiping through it because she just got it. That's what
yeah,
we strive to be, because if you can make it really simple,
yeah.
then they can just get their work done, you know, that much faster and easier. Takes no training, no implementation. That stuff is
Really.
that's
Yeah.
like software. That's yesterday's software. Ours
I
is
was I love that. I love that. I actually, and I'm glad you brought it up, because that's what I've seen, is that there's software. And I'm glad you said yesterday, because we really need to move on from the fact that if you're saying that software is going to make things more efficient, and then we have to turn around and do training programs, and then we have to employ people who are going to manage the platform, and then all of a sudden it turns into sort of, well, the platform doesn't do this, and how are we going to do that? And next thing, all of a sudden, confidence in the software breaks down, and people go, I'm not going to give this the time of day.
That's right. That's right. It's I sat through too many of those myself, and we had to adopt a big CRM firm, software. And 3 days of my life was spent in a conference room, and I probably walked out remembering about 15% of it. So
Yeah,
we just said we are not doing that. So yes, our platform, to the point about change and that we were talking about earlier, that's the
yeah,
first thing you can do to help people be willing to make the change is make it easy,
yeah,
make it
yeah,
easy,
100%.
and
Make it
make it
practical,
familiar.
make it instant, make it real, make it in front of me, make it just as if it's part of my toolkit for turning up for work today. I don't have to think about it. There's the data, it's in front of me. All I need to do is just keep that data moving.
And as a
um
builder, we know how to design the workflow to be a great improvement, not changing the way it was done, keeping it very familiar with the flow and the feel that they're used to,
yeah,
but do it in a much more modern, data-driven way. We're not here to, a lot of the technologists that have, come from outside of our industry, they're just kind of conditioned to think about disruption and
yeah,
change and
yeah, yeah,
something so messed up and wrong, and those people are so dumb. We've got the much better way of doing things. We're not doing that. What
no,
the way people are doing it, the methodology is very sound. We just need to transform that or translate that into modern software, which we're doing,
yeah,
digitizing it. And
yeah,
for us, that change is much more easily made when you can go from what you're doing to something that still is very familiar.
yeah. I love that. Like, it's funny, I was talking to a client only 2 weeks ago about this very topic, and they spent 2 years in the pre-construction stage, generally speaking. So
Yeah.
they build wind farms around the world, and they on average do 2 years of pre-construction planning before they actually even set foot on site and start doing the enabling works or whatever else. And so the conversation became about, well, when do we actually start construction within this whole 2 year model?
Mhm.
And we were trying to figure out that, and I was like, geez, yeah, when is construction?
Yeah.
What is your definition of when you're out of the pre-construction stage and you're actually moving into construction stage? Where is your light bulb moment that that's construction?
These days, it's not that, like, if we were to try to draw that line of transition, it's not like this vertical line, like you wake up on, you're done with pre-con on Friday and on Monday you're now
Yeah,
active in construction. It's
yeah,
more like this because you're fast tracking projects where you'll get the excavation and the dirt work and all of that stuff going while you're still designing, the paint and the interior design. So pre-con is going, and maybe there's the middle third that pre-con is still active while you're in construction mode.
yeah.
But
I'm glad you said
when
that.
you're done is really when, all of the work is otherwise bid out, transferred to a subcontractor to do the work. You've worked through all of that and you're done buying the job out.
Yeah,
And now it's just, the design's pretty much done. I mean, there will be design things that get handled through change orders, but
yeah,
you're not doing that in a pre-construction capacity. So it's a blurry line, and that line's going to be different depending on
yeah,
the project needs. But the beauty about pre-con is um, we precede construction. And
yeah,
so the weird thing is everybody kind of rushed in and they solved the project management problem before they solved the pre-construction problem. So we're
yeah,
coming in doing all of that, and then everything that's figured out here can easily just be pushed into those systems for whatever the final results are, whatever that information is needed to populate those tools with the starting point. Um,
yeah.
and that handoff, with
It
everything
varies.
that you got to worry about, that's about the cleanest easiest handoff. There's far more complicated things to have to, solve for when you think about technology and
Yeah.
things interface. Pre-con to construction, it's actually quite clean and easy, at least for us.
That company is a couple of billion dollars, if you like, turnover per year. And
Yeah.
we got the conversation led to how we need to have a project risk register, and we need to track in the project risk register as a team of different milestones in the pre-construction stage, so that then we can sort of get to a point of where we as a team collaborate and go, oh yeah, construction starts at that point,
Yeah.
on, within the definition, stuff like that. And then here I am on this podcast talking to you going, I was talking about a spreadsheet, a project risk register spreadsheet to a multi-billion pound company.
Yeah.
And really, are we still not there? Like, I know, like, we're not. Like, there's
Well,
like,
for us, everybody that has come on as a customer, we have customers now into their third year. I mean, they love it. Um, our challenge as Concentric is to just make ourselves known to everybody that, hey, there is an option out there now, that it's not
yeah,
Excel. You're not having to figure out this stuff
yeah,
from a blank whole cloth here. And the exciting thing is, it's like the little bit of the light bulb glint that I saw with what you were just relaying in that story. When people come on board, they see now what's possible with modern
yeah.
software. And then the ideas just start rolling off their head. Hey, I love this.
Can it
And
do
this
this?
is like
Can it do
50
that?
times better than my Excel spreadsheet. But now, what if we did this? Could you make it like this? Or I've got this report that I got to, just slave over for, hours and hours and hours. Can
Hmm.
you generate something like that? And for us, our team, I mean, we love it. We embrace all of those ideas, and we
Yeah,
we address those and pump those out in light speed to really, really, our customers become part of our growth, and they complement our ideas and our roadmap and what we're building and where we're driving towards. And it's just like an exciting thing to be not only a customer to get the benefit out of the platform, but to be able to
mm,
have a front row seat and participate in the continuous evolution and making of this platform. It's our customers are just amazing. They're just core to what we do.
no, I get that. I totally get that, and I definitely see that you've put the customer first and not the software first. And that's another thing that I've seen is the software comes first, and then it's shoved into the system to say, here, you need this, you need this. We've solved this problem for you, rather than reverse engineer it, have a look at the problem. You've got people around you like yourself that's actually lived the problem, and
Yep.
then work your way back from that, and then be open to change, because your version today will could be a very different version next week because of, as you say, customer stories and customer feedback.
Yep.
So you're not, you know and this is the other problem with software, is you're kind of pigeonholed into this framework that people have. And the framework doesn't change, because this is what you bought, this is an out of the box solution, you got to get on with it.
No.
That's not going to serve anybody.
No. Um, no. It's flexibility. I mean, for us, our customers are partners, and
Yeah,
we're not uh, building something rigid that is disrupting the industry. So we got our take on things, and we don't listen to anybody else, and we're going to force this upon you. That is not us. That does not work at all. I know that from coming from the industry. This is about a living, breathing platform that's just going to really organically grow with the contribution and input from our customers alongside our ideas, and knowing what's possible, keeping up with what's possible in the age of AI.
yeah,
I'm so thankful we've got the people on our team, what I call the big brains. They're just amazing. That I mean, they're just way
different
ahead
level.
of
Yeah,
anything that I can dream of. So I'll come in and get into the platform, or we're having a conversation, and there's something amazingly new that's been introduced to the platform that's light years ahead of anything I could have thought about.
Yeah.
It's so exciting, so
No,
exciting.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I'm going to throw a few curveballs at you, Steve.
Sure.
Um, Knowing what you know now, what would you do different in life?
I would have started this a lot sooner. Oh man.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
honestly would. There's not a whole lot. Fortunately, there's not a whole lot that I would say that I would change. But
Good. Well, good on you, pal. Good on you. A favorite book or movie or both?
favorite book. I read a lot. I'm a big history buff.
Go for it. Yeah.
And I've said this on a few others. There's a book called Freedom's Forge,
Okay.
and it's really about World War II, or before World War II, the recognition that the United States was just way behind, and World War II was going to be ultimately inevitable. And Roosevelt had the vision to realize we got to do something. We got to do something fast and a big way. So he pulled Bill Knutson out of the automotive industry, who was known as being very dynamic and innovative. And more or less one person started to build this momentum of how we were converting Ford factories from building cars to building entire fleets of planes, down to buttons for the soldiers' uniforms. Just this massive transformation of what was the private sector into the industrial machine to prepare us for World War II. And we won, nominally, due to the fact that we just could outperform
Yeah.
all of the countries, the evil empire that we were fighting.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. The thing that just struck me was need, the ability to drive scale, to be brave and drive change when nobody's really thinking about it, or maybe even resisting the need to that change, and just the power of what one group of people can really affect on the entire world. I just
Yeah.
I just kind of find it inspiring.
Yeah. But the other part of that, Steve, if you don't mind me saying so, is in a positive way. To make
Yes,
that, yeah, and unfortunately, people get together in that same model in a negative way, which we've
that's right.
also seen. Yeah, but very powerful. I must look up that book. A point of interest about you that not many people would probably know about Steve.
Hmm. Okay, isn't that kind of the point? If you're a private person,
Well, we don't want to know anything personal in terms of relationships and stuff like that or whatever, but like, something about, geez, I know Steve a while and I never knew that that was his hobby or whatever it is that, you do in your own time.
um, it's funny in construction. There's a lot of people, that come out of college and they go in and become a project manager or superintendent, and then you you would think, or other people think, oh, you're in construction, therefore you're handy, right? So
Yeah,
the majority of people aren't. They
yeah,
barely even swung a hammer. Um, Carpentry, building stuff. It's a passion of mine, always has been. And so what I think really helped me throughout my career was just this ability to just innately know how things go together.
wow,
And
yeah,
I think I've caught a few people by surprise, when I was just kind of the project manager, and then you got the old stereotypical crusty superintendent, and
yeah,
they just think you're just some kind of like,
yeah, yeah,
shirt and tie college punk. But then you show them something that you've built or done, or you really solve a problem, knowing that I know how things go together, and they're like, okay, this guy might actually know something.
yeah, yeah.
So, I think it's
Love,
just that builder through and through, just the kind of stuff that I've built. I mean, I'm in a building here that I literally built by myself. Everything, there's a real background, and I built
wow,
all of it with my own hands.
well done, you. Favorite holiday destination or your go to place, Steve's go to place when he needs to get away.
Raising kids. I've got a daughter who's a sophomore in college and university now, and I've got an eighth grader. So for the longest time, beach vacations were the thing you did with your kids. But
Yeah,
I'm excited to get back to Europe, which I think we
really.
are going to. And Italy is a favorite place of mine. But I got to tell you, Ireland, and I'm not
Yes.
sucking up to the host here, but Ireland is a close favorite of mine. I went over and had a wonderful time. This is going back a few years, but I was in Dublin, Galway, and then
Lovely.
I just was solo. I drove the entire northern coast,
Wow.
Portsmouth and um,
You
Giants
went up to
Causeway,
you
and
went
then
up to
down into
Belfast, yeah.
Belfast.
Antrim and all that. Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, saw it all.
yeah.
It was amazing. I stayed on all the 3 and 4 digit roads.
Game of
Stayed on all
Thrones and all that kind
highways.
of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
It is. Well done. Well done. Steve, it's been really insightful talking to you. I'm super impressed with what you've done. If people want to reach out to you and contact you, how do they do it?
I think the easiest is me personally, LinkedIn. Just hit me up on LinkedIn, and we can talk. You come to our website, which is www.concntric.com,
Yeah,
and you can get a hold of me or any one of my team through the website and learn what we're all about.
yeah.
And we just love meeting people in the industry and sharing how we might be able to partner with them and help them. So we think of it as our front door. So I invite you to our house, and the website's the front door. Just give it a knock.
Yeah, I'm actually very impressed with your website, by the way. That's
Brand new this week.
oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's very slick. It's actually well put together, and everything that we were discussing, there was even when you were talking during the show here, I was having some sneaky looks at it, and it's just like it's very well put together. It's very concise. It's not. It's very easy to get around,
Well,
and it
thank you.
is, and it does what it says. What you say you do. So, which is which is the main point of it. But
Perfect.
listen, Steve, it's been a pleasure, and I want to thank you for your time, and I wish you every success in the future.
Likewise, and I'm happy to be on anytime.
Yeah, we'll get you back. Don't worry about that, pal.
And when I come over to Dublin, I know I'm going to look you up.
We'll do it in person when you come over to Dublin. That's there's the
Absolutely.
deal, okay?
Absolutely.
All
All
right,
right,
take
man.
care. Bye bye.
Have a good weekend.